Welcome guys. So this is a channel you want to be at if you want the truth, you want the bluntness and anything crazy that's going on. We're right here in the middle of it, aren't we guys? So I want you to stick around till the end of this video because I'm requesting the help of each and every person who views this video. Find out at the end. So let's be honest, okay? When people hear the word addict, they don't picture, the image of their loved one who's sort of probably sat with them watching this, or wherever they are at work or at school, or upstairs doing homework. They don't picture the loved ones when sort of they hear the word addict, drug addict, addiction, drug user, druggie or whatever. They don't picture the loved one. They probably picture people like me, lost everything, weight drops off you, an erotic, God I can't speak, craziness lifestyle. You picture a junkie, what your perception is of a junkie on the street, someone to avoid basically, and you judge them, people judge them. But here's what you don't realise. Addiction doesn't care who it takes, who it reels in, who it captures, who it puts behind bars. It doesn't matter if you're working class. It doesn't matter if you're well educated or, it really will take anybody. Had a bad childhood, good childhood, rich, poor. It really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. And people's parents think, I brought my childhood better than that. I had the best childhood you could ever wish for, and I really genuinely did. So it's not just a clear line of, you've got bad trauma and you're going to end up on drugs. Because there's plenty of people who have suffered trauma in their life who don't go onto drugs, and there's like plenty of people like myself who haven't suffered trauma in childhood, in the family home, and gone on to drugs. And people look down on addicts and really believe that they are the scum of the earth, and it's true. It's true. Excuse me. It's stigma and it's ignorance. And people assume that addiction is a choice, that you've made your poor decisions and bad decisions and you're paying the price for it now, and sort of, they deserve it, they shouldn't have made that choice. And it's simple, really. Sometimes it is a reaction to trauma and the pain and survival, and people sometimes use drugs to block that out. You've got to, each drug addict who uses drugs, if you're watching or have used drugs and in recovery or are still using drugs like myself, God, it's hot, isn't it, guys? Everybody's got their own reason on why they started drugs and why they are where they are now, and why they've got, the stories that they can tell. But most of all, they survived those stories. I mean, most people who haven't been in addiction, especially drug addiction, where you've got to find money, every day, or you really believe you're going to die. That's how bad the pain is. 9 times out of 10, they've lived a very fucking hard life. All right, then they don't have to. They could get off drugs, but it's not as simple and as easy as that. And through these series of videos, I really want to sort of try and change the stigma and the opinion of what people think of people like myself. I do believe that maybe through all my watch hours and my views, that I have maybe changed someone's opinion out there. I don't know. I'd like to think I have anyway. But I do also think that the media's got a hell of a lot to answer for the way that we see, or few people see drug addicts as this slow cross the road to avoid them, blah, blah, blah. I do think it is the media who are responsible for that, and I get it, sometimes things sell easier and more quickly and generate more views and stuff like that if it's a happy childhood they're going to tell you about, and I went on drugs because I wanted to. It's not as good, I suppose, in the media's outlook, as opposed to somebody who, they're homeless, they've been homeless years, they suffer abuse, they've lost kids through care, through their addiction and blah, blah, blah. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, there's channels out there who go interviewing people who work on the street and who beg on the street, and they do really seem to pick the dregs of society, and that's coming from a drug addict. They do really, really pick the ones who do give other drug addicts a bad name, to be fair. That's my opinion. I really can't see without glasses. Bloody hell. I've got to have my eyes tested. They're coming out to test them. These are just Poundland ones. Anyway, I've felt the pain when I've been off drugs of, people still looking at you like you are a drug addict and judging you like you are still using, even though you're not. The doctor doesn't believe your pain. You think you're lying, there's an underlying reason on why you're asking for certain tablets, even though you're not on drugs. There's also the stigma of employees, you get a job and people don't trust you because you've just been a drug addict, and it sticks, the labels stick, don't they? And they stay there, unfortunately. But it's getting more recognised that addiction is an illness. So let's look at it like an illness then. Would you shame somebody who'd got cancer? Would you shame somebody who'd got MS? Would you shame somebody who'd got dementia? No, you wouldn't. So why are we shaming drug addicts? You've all been told, everybody who thinks differently to me, who's against drug addicts and got a low opinion on them, we've all been, it's all in the media, it's all, that it is an illness, it's a mental illness. So you are aware of that, but still you judge. And I really want to change that. I want to make people understand that addiction really is something that you've got to understand, you've got to have more compassion. And there'll be fewer funerals because people would get help, mentor somebody, learn that addiction, go and sort of talk to somebody, talk to an addict and hear their story. They'll tell it you. Most of them will tell it you. So, I want you to do something for me. I want you now, and I want you to be absolutely, totally honest. Block everything out and answer me this question. When I say drug addict, shut your eyes. When you picture a drug addict, are you one of those people who are judgmental? Really think about it. There's no shame in it. There's no right or wrong answer because it's your opinion. But are you one of those people? Now, if you are, I now want you to ask yourself why you think like that. Is it something that's happened to you in your past? Have you been hurt? Have you been, suffered crime and a drug addict's responsible? I don't know. Or could it just be because society, the media, Facebook, YouTube, Snapchat, Instagram, the newspapers have all told you to think like that? Put your answers in the comments below because I really want to make a follow-up to this video. Now, what I'm asking for and what I'm looking for is somebody to talk to me. You don't have to have your face on it. It can be a phone call, it can be a StreamYard, and I've got both accounts. I'll give you a password. You don't have to have StreamYard yourself. We can do a live, a StreamYard. Again, you don't have to have your face on it, or you can have your face on it. Whatever, it's up to you, whatever you feel comfortable with. but I want somebody to come on to my channel and talk to me who thinks like that. I want somebody who thinks low of a drug addict, who just, just judge them, who just see them as the scum of the earth. I'm asking for a request for people to get in touch with me by email. We can friend request me on Facebook, Flying High Living Low, and message me directly on there. TikTok, I'm on there, Flying High Living Low, even though I've just been bloody banned from going live for a little bit there, but that's another story I'll tell you about. There will be absolutely no arguments. It won't be arguing with you. I won't be shouting at you. I won't be screaming at you. It will be an adult conversation from one adult to another. Please, is there somebody out there who is willing to do that? Get in touch if there is. I hope you've liked this video. Please hit that subscribe button. It doesn't take much. It doesn't cost nothing, and I'm just there on your channel. You don't even have to hit the the bell if you don't want to. But if you've watched a few of my videos and you're not subscribed, get it pressed, because you certainly like something about coming back here, guys, don't you? Which is brilliant. I'm relaunching the channel, and I've got some exciting things to talk about. This weekend I'm doing a lot of uploads, loads to fill you in about. But that's sort of, just wanted to talk about the stigma and request for somebody to come on. So thanks for watching, guys, and yeah, keep it up.